On December 31st, the Fate Grand Order spinoff finally saw the international release of the OVA Moonlight Lostroom, which is in of itself a part of the Fate Grand Order story that focuses on the character Olga Marie Animasphere. Originally released in 2017 to mediocre reception and general indifference, this anime is yet another piece of the Fate Grand Order story, which seems to be taking the path of releasing all of its stories and bits and pieces out of order rather than in order, like in Fate Stay Night, barring the 2006 Series 2 releases. The anime was produced by Lostroom, who previously worked on Fate Grand Order, First Order, OVA/movie, whichever way you see it. This anime in particular takes place in the Moonlight/Lostroom, our titular setting if you will. And immediately, I must say the concept of this room is fascinating. It's basically this room where you can find anything that's lost to you or other people, and the room in of itself is practically forgotten to most people in Chaldea. Fate has always toyed and played with these kinds of ideas, as the series, while being fairly well within the realm of the traditional anime bullshit, and I say that in an endearing term, still likes to go and get its viewers to think about these concepts that seem more supernatural or really out there in general. It's something most regular anime viewers won't have an issue with, because these things are often used in really dense anime. But in this anime, it's honestly kind of boring, as the dialogue is really supposed to carry this whole special since it's focused in really hard on this room and the concept of it. Honestly, I have no issue with that. I really enjoy these dialogue-driven anime, as to get into Fate, you really have to start with Fate Zero, which is insanely dialogue-heavy. Plus, you also have things like the Garden of Sinners, which delves into the dialogue side of things really hard. This anime simply isn't, though, able to carry itself with the writing we hear. It's cliched, as the Olga Marie character is probably the most pure version of a trope in all of Fate, and that's, well, she's a tsundere. So to have her be the focus here, well, I could see a lot of this character coming from a mile away. Instead of focusing on someone who sorta needs it, I would have taken another MASH or even Fujiwara OVA, honestly. They instead decided to do an Olga Marie OVA, which is, I guess their character of the hour. And I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate that they see this character and they want to develop her more. But she's more of a character that's better as the seasoning, not the main entree. Which is fine. We saw that in Lord El Meloy. They used Olga Marie pretty much perfectly. That's because they saw what this character was, a good supporting character, and then used her accordingly. And really, it's not a bad thing they focused on her. I think this OVA served a purpose, and that's for people to get to know Olga Marie a little better, get more attached to her. But I would say that this story could have been better told somewhere else in the story itself. And yeah, while at the end of the First Order we do see her pretty much almost for sure die, no takesy backsies, right? I just feel we can fit this in better somewhere else, because to me this just went on way too long for her, which sucks. I'm actually a pretty big fan of Olga Marie, as I think she's quite funny, and there's just something to her that makes her so likable. Which this OVA specifically brings up, and that's the fact she was once this little girl who was forced to take this position of an Animasphere. This is my favorite part, because this is why she's so likable, to me at least. We can really get behind her because of her cause and her reasonings, because it just makes sense, and you want to see her really succeed and grow into this role she's in. But the overall plot wasn't enough for me to say this OVA was anything more than mediocre. But what really pushed over the edge is the studio Lostroom. Their art direction for this series, quite frankly, is not good. I criticized it in my First Order review, but man, oh man, these designs just do not work for these characters. And specifically, coming off of Absolute Demonic Front, which has some of the best art, animation, and talent in anime right now working on it, well, it just doesn't make the grade, and it simply isn't good enough for this style of OVA they wanted to do anyways. And with the action we do see, well, simply, it is not good. The models do not look good, and they look at times like they're missing shaders and key facial or body features which should be there. It for sure has this late 90s low budget vibe at times for sure. Not to say this anime is badly made. It isn't. It's just the art direction does not fit the Fate series at all. Which is surprising, as even Studio Dean's style worked for the Fate series, and that's considered the redheaded stepchild of the Fate series right now. But there are still moments. This anime is able to achieve some good looking animation and art. There is an instance where Fujimaru is transported to this land of sand and is attacked by a servant. This short but impactful scene was the best visual in the whole OVA. It wasn't anything to write home about, but, well, the effects they used on it looked really cool, and for a moment I saw a glimpse of the brilliance Leydus may be able to achieve one day in the future. Otherwise, this OVA isn't, I hate to say this, but it isn't good. It almost gets there at times, but it's simply mediocre at the best, and that sucks. I want every anime to be good, and it really sucks when a Fate anime isn't good. But toss this into the pile next to First Order for possibly the worst Fate productions yet. Would I recommend this? No. Not even to fans of Fate who want to see everything. You really do not need to watch this at all. There is nothing you get from this anime that really helps you other than maybe an appreciation for Olga Marie. But even then, really, this isn't anything special, and it felt like I wasted 30 minutes of my time. That may sound harsh, I know, but there is simply no other way I can describe this anime. I don't have any hard feelings about it, one way or the other, but looking at it, man, I just cannot recommend this anime. So with that being said, if you haven't already, make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, put down in the comments below what are your thoughts on the Moonlight Lostroom OVA, and know that I have a Patreon where on the $1 tier and above you get access to literally everything, and there's a bunch of OVA stuff, bunch of Patreon stuff you definitely want to go check out. Big news. So I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.